Hello, and welcome to the 11th episode of the Captain Informers. Let's give a round of applause, boys. All right, I'm Christian. I'm joined here by Ryan and Dan, and we have a very special guest. But before that, I'd like to talk a little about comebacks. There's been a lot of great comebacks over the last century. Michael Jordan coming back from baseball to win 3 NBA championships. Adrian Pearson coming back from ACL tear to rush for almost the NFL rushing record. Superman coming back from the dead to come back and kick ass with a cool-ass beard. Batman coming back from the past to kick ass. And, of course, the biggest comeback of all time, Jesus Christ coming back from the dead after 3 days. But all those pale in comparison to the return of our co-founder, Brady Doyle. Brady, welcome back to the cast.
So moving. It's wonderful to be back. I know I've been away from it seems like months now, but schedules got a little messy. Going to different schools is kind of a problem. I try to get out here as much as I can, but I'm here today, and what better time than the Easter season to make my comeback?
Yeah, right. Easter.
But it's good to be back with the boys, right. And we got a hell of a show coming off of the Captain America opening night last night, and we all went to go see it. Personally, I thought it was one of the best superhero films I've seen in a while. What'd you guys think? Christian, what'd you think?
I think it's one of the best superhero films I've seen ever.
Say ever.
Yeah, forever. I really enjoyed that film. I had been real low on Marvel as of late.
Right.
If you listen to the KP's podcast, you can hear that this entire group of people did not enjoy Iron Man 3. Not one bit. And that really made me lose some faith in the Marvel films. It made me forget why I love them so much.
Yep.
And this really reaffirmed that. I mean, Thor: The Dark World was in between there, but that's just like middle of the road, filler time kind of film.
Right.
This is a film that's bringing new things into the canon, breaking things down, and possibly destroying Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show. So how can I not love that too?
It was. It was like some of the best fighting scenes I've ever seen ever. I mean, I just every fight scene I sat there, it took me back. I was like, holy shit, this is brutal. Like, they were brutal moves in there that you just would like cringe, like, oh my god. Imagine just get your fucking arm broken in like a split second. And it's just like, oh, Jesus. But all in all, great film. What'd you guys think? Dan, Ryan?
I really enjoyed it. I was very skeptical going into it, even with all the hype surrounding it. There was a lot of hype surrounding Iron Man 3, and I felt let down by that.
There was a lot of hype surrounding Iron Man 3.
So, and I wasn't, the biggest fan of the first Captain America, so I was very skeptical going into it, but it was very enjoyable. Like you said, the action and the fight scenes were insane.
Right.
Yeah.
Very well choreographed.
They didn't waste any time either. I mean, it was like 5 minutes in, and he was already like
fighting George St. Pierre.
I don't want to say killing people, but he was like...
Well, he was throwing fuckers off a boat, so I'm going to imagine those motherfuckers died.
Yeah.
Black Widow was shooting people, so...
She's another character that we shouldn't forget. I mean, she was just as equally as badass as the Cap was in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was... she was great, and we talked about it earlier this morning. ScarJo.
ScarJo is amazing,
classic.
And the debut of Falcon,
absolutely,
was there too.
Which is very cool. I thought.
Oh yeah, Anthony Mackie was great in that part.
Yeah,
Flight Suit was great. That whole little metal wings and stuff. You know what it kind of reminded me of? The Vulture suit from Spider-Man. Just like a little bit, just because it kind of looked like that.
It made me happy they didn't waste time like giving him like a huge origin story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, I used to do missions in the army, and they're not like, all right, well, we got to go get you these wings. He's just like, oh, I used to use these, and we can go get them. And I'm like, okay, awesome. We don't have to waste time going back and fleshing out everyone's backstories.
Yeah, they kind of cut to the point a little bit, which is good. Dan, what'd you think?
I mean, already a lot has been said about the fight scenes, and the only thing I want to add to that is just what they did with Captain America's shield, like how he was fighting with the shield. I thought that was
I thought that was interesting. They utilized the shield a lot. which is really cool. I mean, he got some moves in there that were just like with the shield, like unbelievable.
I love the way they. I think these fight scenes in this movie were incredible, and they showcase so much more of what Captain America is capable of,
Right.
compared to the first film, where all we see him is run barefoot after a car and jump high. And like, you know what I mean? And shoot shit.
You know what
This
else?
really gets down to the hand-to-hand combat, him with the shield, him...
Yeah, and you know what else? You don't really see any of that in the Avengers either. I mean, you see a little bit, but like nothing like this, you know? Like, this was just unbelievable. Just over the top, and it was great. And, I mean, I don't want to leave out the Winter Soldier either. I mean, he was part of the reason why that movie was so badass, and the fighting was just awesome. Like, that scene where they're in the street and he's fighting with the knife and he's like throwing the knife around and like if any of us tried to do that, we'd lose a finger.
Yeah, like I feel like the Winter Soldier, they like tried to have him say absolutely nothing.
Yeah, what?
Because they're like they did that in Thor: The Dark World too. Like Malekith said like maybe 5 words after that opening sequence when he like said like all that elfish language.
Yeah.
And then like after that he maybe said 5 words in the movie.
Yeah.
We're gonna probably go into spoiler territory right around here, so I'd skip ahead like 10 minutes if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the Winter Soldier, but it really took me out of it when like we were talking about Sebastian Stan a few episodes ago about how he's an unknown actor, and when he was revealed to be Bucky Barnes, it was fucking hysterical for all the people who knew it was going to be Bucky Barnes like us, because there was no reaction from the audience. It was all like who the fuck is that?
I don't get it.
just because Sebastian Stan's he's like such a non-noticeable face.
Right.
Like Bucky, no one saw. I'm gonna say no one saw the first one, but a lot of those people didn't see the first Captain America. They saw just the Avengers. So when they revealed it, it wasn't as big as an impact as you thought it was going to be. And I'm not criticizing the film for it because it did what it was supposed to do, and this is these people's fault for not seeing the first one. But I just thought it was hysterical the way that happened.
Yeah, it was.
And our theater was full too.
Yeah,
it's not like it was like half empty. It was full, and like everyone was just like, who the fuck's that? And then he's like, it's Bucky, and everyone's like, oh, it's his friend.
What?
Yes. And then we get the great line, who's Bucky? your scary villain.
One of his 2 lines in the whole movie.
But that.
I know you.
I have very limited criticism of this movie, though. I really enjoyed it.
There was another part that kind of made me laugh, and I actually looked over at you, and we were both having a good laugh. And I know you. No, you don't. I mean, if we could compare two villains who act like teenage girls, I'd have to say the Winter Soldier and Slade Wilson.
They're like, the Winter Soldier's really cool, but he doesn't say anything. So let's just have him take him. Did you notice he really had a big stance when he turned away from the car when he shot Nick Fury's car? Like he had it load in his pants or something. He went ooh.
Yeah.
Most people just turn like a human being, but I guess he is the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, it was. No, I mean, very limited criticism, as you said. It was over the line. I was not expecting it to be that. I knew it was going to be good, but I wasn't expecting it to be that good. You know. And because I will admit, I don't really know a lot about Captain America. I was never really into him as a kid, kind of growing up or anything like that. I saw the first movie. I liked it. Obviously, I loved Avengers. And this one, I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm huge. I'm going to get a Captain America t-shirt now. But it was great. I loved it. I thought the whole time I didn't think Nick Fury was actually really dead. They couldn't do that.
I was talking about that after we saw it. That I'm okay with the bringing back people to life shit now.
Yeah.
We do it in comics all the time. These are comic book movies.
It's just,
why not? I just talked about comebacks, right? Every superhero has died and just come back, so might as well.
Superman comes back from the dead all the time.
So why can't Nick? Although we did think it was funny that he wasn't Nick Fury at the end of that movie. He was full out Samuel L. Jackson.
It was a Sam Jackson with shades on and shit.
But great. I mean, awesome movie. If you guys haven't seen it yet, definitely go out and see it, and maybe we'll go see it again.
I would like to. One of the things that I thought was so great about it is it is a film about now. It is a post-millennial film, and I know we've talked about this before. Like, it is so current with the NSA and the way we think about protecting ourselves in this country, allowing people into our houses, knowing our information. That's the way we feel safe. But is that really safety? Is that really freedom? It brings a lot of questions.
It really does. I mean, when they have that scene where at the very end, it might be the very end, maybe not, but where they're targeting everybody, and it really makes you think, like, wow, that technology isn't that far off, you know, like obviously we don't have SHIELD, we don't have flying hovercrafts that target millions of people at the same time and eliminate
If
them.
only we did.
But, like, you know, it's very modern, as you said. And I think that's also a very good thing that they incorporate in that film, and it just makes it that much better. Yeah. Do you guys want to add anything else?
Well, do we want to trudge into the after credits scene?
Yeah, we can talk about
absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
So,
we got a glimpse at two characters that we've talked about earlier on the show. Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch made their appearance in the famous after credit Marvel scenes that we've all come to expect.
Yeah.
And I thought Quicksilver, you only see him move around in he's in a cell.
Yep.
Spoiler. And he's moving around using his speed in a very enclosed area, but it looks pretty cool. I thought it looked cool.
I think it looks
both
cool.
their powers look cool too. Like Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch with her hexes. That was kind of cool to see. I can't wait to see how they expand upon that in the Avengers.
Yeah, definitely.
Who they say their dad is.
Yeah, how they address that.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll just do what they do with Falcon. They'll be like, these people used to work in the military and they picked up these powers, and now they're
and here we are. I used to use super speed all the time.
I had these super shoes.
Super underwear.
Yeah, I always talk about my real criticism of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that it doesn't have many great villains. And if you really look at this film, the Winter Soldier really isn't the villain of the film. He's more the lackey used by the real villain. Robert Redford.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
What was his name? Alexander Pierce?
Yeah.
A high-ranking political man of some sort, whose position really wasn't told to us.
He was like
he was Secretary of Defense, I think.
Of the whole country?
No.
Of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I thought he was, high-ranking in S.H.I.E.L.D.
I thought he was
I always loved the mysterious, businesswomen who run S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, we saw them in the Avengers, and they're like, bring out Phase 2 with the weapons, and now they're like, these people for who run this S.H.I.E.L.D. thing really want to kill a lot of fucking humans.
Yeah.
Like they were all into it with the Phase 2 weapons. Now they want to kill 20 million people. And I love how we can't get through a film without some kind of ultimate algorithm or ultimate gem of some kind.
They always gotta pull science. I feel like Marvel's filled with scientists. Peter Parker.
Tony Stark.
All these people from
Tony
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Stark, Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
They're all scientists. You see that? I mean,
Captain America.
The Winter Soldier is not a scientist. He's actually a big dummy. But what were you gonna say about? Or did you already criticize them? Did you already say your criticism about Marvel films?
Oh, the only thing I thought this film was missing, and Dan made this point when we left the theater, was I rewatched a little bit of the Avengers when I came home last night, and this really struck a chord with me too. I'm like, where was Hawkeye? Hawkeye is a big part of S.H.I.E.L.D., and he just wasn't there. Dan, do you want to touch upon that a little bit?
I love Jeremy Renner, so it was a big disappointment to not see him there. And really weird because Avengers touched a lot on the really close friends, will they, won't they, between Hawkeye and Black Widow. And it's suddenly, that was just gone in this movie. And it's will they, won't they, between Steve Rogers and Black Widow. And, But like, man, I love Jeremy Renner.
The hipster scene.
The hipster Max scene was really
it was.
that really played well.
But you know, it did have a lot of good chuckle scenes that Marvel throws in there all the time.
But I thought it was a really good balance.
Yeah,
as comparison
exactly. I was just gonna say,
Com-
like, as far as action goes, and like,
Yeah.
because Marvel has a tendency to kind of tip towards, oh, we're gonna make a bunch of comedy jokes and make the action subpar. But this one was pretty even keel.
Fucking give a round of applause to the Russo brothers who directed this film, because they come from a background of comedy, from Arrested Development, Community, and all those kind of shows.
Mhm.
And like I remember when they hired them, I'm like, oh shit, and Marvel's just making more comedy films, I guess. Captain America slipping on banana peels and shit.
Yep.
But like they really did a
money in the
great
bananas.
job on those action scenes, and we keep saying it over and over again. Go see this movie, and you'll know what we're fucking talking about. Because
Exactly. And I mean, just like a final note on this movie, it wouldn't have been a Marvel film without the great Stan Lee cameo.
Stanley showed up.
course.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, he just makes it complete. But yeah. And any last words before we move on to?
I just said one thing.
Yeah.
Hail Hydra.
We had
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Just subtly, is it? Hail Hydra.
I think something that we haven't actually discussed is, they actually showed what Colonel Nicholas J. Fury is capable of in this movie. Like he had
Yeah, that's
really
true.
badass action scene on his own.
He
Yeah.
did.
Oh, that car
And,
was awesome. How did we
oh,
forget
yeah.
about that?
Yeah.
His car was
I
sweet.
know.
He was in a lot more of this film than I thought he was going to be.
His car could fly. It didn't.
It didn't.
It would have.
And what's his name? Who's the voice behind Jarvis?
That's who I thought it
Paul
was.
Bentley?
Paul Bentley? Yeah, was that Paul Bentley voicing his
I
car?
remember
I don't know.
I asked you that too. I said,
I
is
don't
that
know,
Jarvis?
but he's going to be playing the Vision in Age of Ultron, so we can always speculate if Jarvis is becoming the Vision and all that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you were saying about Fury, yeah, it was awesome to see Sam Jackson in action.
Yeah.
And everyone loves Sam Jackson.
I love me some.
And
Sammy
Dan
Davis.
caught an awesome thing on Nick Fury. This is another spoiler. Tombstone at the end. Just make sure you look out for that. Look at his stone carefully.
Very classic Samuel L. Jackson performance.
Yeah.
Very classic.
All right, great stuff.
All right,
man.
so
Definitely gonna. I just want to say one last thing.
Yep.
This set the fucking bar really high for the rest of these movies.
And you
for
know
the rest
what?
of the
I
summer.
think. I mean, when we were there, we saw the preview for Spider-Man. And
Spidey,
that-
X-Men, and
that is
TMNT, and
Right.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
and Guardians of the Galaxy.
So we're starting off on a good note. I want the
And
streak to
Days of Future
continue.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will. I mean, Spider-Man looks fantastic. X-Men looks fantastic. We're going to touch upon TMNT in a little bit here, and just kind of talk about what they're doing. But yeah, you're right. Captain America really set the summer for movies like in a good way, and I'm excited for the rest of the summer. And
Yeah.
hopefully, everything meets the standards.
A lot of capey leading candidates in that.
That's right. All right, so go see Captain America: Winter Soldier. It's definitely worth $10 or $11, however much you want to spend. Go see it. Go see it twice. You know what Kevin Smith says? If you're not seeing this movie, you're probably going to go see it twice. So go see it. It's an awesome movie. But now we're going to kind of switch gears here to DC Universe, DC TV Universe, our favorite show, Arrow. This past
Arrow.
week, we had the Deathstroke episode, self-titled Deathstroke episode. Overall, it was a little slow at the beginning, but the last 15 minutes, we were talking about great fight scenes. Another great fight scene with Ollie. Just nonstop action from there on in. What were your guys' thoughts if you guys have seen it? Christian, I know we talked about it. What'd you think?
Just the way this was hyped, I was a little disappointed overall.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a bad episode. It was a good episode.
I gave it a
but-
7.5 on the rating.
Yeah, just the way it was hyped. Like, you title this episode Deathstroke.
Mhm.
You
Right.
tell us it's going to be a showdown between Oliver and Slade, and in the episode they never fight.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, this is like when you title it as the villain, I'm expecting the villain and the hero to fight each other.
Right.
That's just my thoughts on that. But like the rest of the episode, it was a lot of Slade spreading rumors.
Right. He does drop a lot of girly kind of gossip things, and not to poke fun at his character, because he's obviously the most badass assassin in the DC universe, but he does act like a little girl, and maybe that's the CW's doing it. If that is, shame on you, CW, making him look like a sissy.
It's just that the first rumor, we'll talk about this because this was hysterical. It's not a rumor. He's got Thea in that room, and he's like, if you don't leave right now, I'll tell you Oliver Queen's secret. First of all, he said you could either go or you could stay here, and I'll tell you the secret, and then he just let her go anyway.
Mm-hmm.
What was the big ultimatum there? Like, what was even the point of suggesting why he just fucking tell her before she left?
Yeah.
You could stay here or you could go now.
But I have a secret.
So he's like, I'm going to tell you Oliver's secret. And then we find out that Oliver's secret is that Oliver's mom had sex with Malcolm Merlin. and Thea's dad is Malcolm Merlin. I don't know how that's Ollie's secret.
And the worst part, too, is that Thea continues to be mad at Ollie about it.
And we were talking about it. It was like, she's like, Ollie, when you were 8 years old, you were like, Mom, you should bang Malcolm Merlin. How is this Ollie's fault? Maybe he knew, but still, even if he knew, how can you blame him more than the mom?
Right.
How can you blame him?
That part was just totally bizarre. Just I remember you sent me the text when you were watching. You were like, how is this Oliver's fault? How can this possibly be his fault? And I was just sitting there, I was like, I don't know, maybe she's just a confused girl yelling at the one person who, he told
she trusts. Maybe she doesn't trust the mom. She trusts Ollie.
Yeah, that's probably has something to do with it.
I mean, that's as far as I could go. It's Oliver's secret.
Yeah.
Maybe as a kid, Thea always wanted to go to the pool, but Ollie just ruined it.
Yeah, we talked about that. The queens, they detest swimming, and so does Thea. What happened to them that makes them detest swimming so much? I've always wondered that.
I know.
That's crucial.
I said that I thought the death trap of this episode was going to be Slade puts Thea in the middle of a pool. He's going to be like, go get her swim. Sarah!
I can't do it.
Another little thing I noticed, and I tweeted this, and the Captain Informers tweeted this too, is a side effect of Miracle just despising Oliver Queen? Because seriously, Roy is just being a little bitch.
He really is.
Yeah, your decisions. Oh, God, Thea kidnapped. I'm going to drive away because that solves everything.
No, but you're right, because, and then Slade, obviously.
Colton Hayes, nut up or shut up, son.
I know. I've been sitting here patiently awaiting for Arsenal to show up at some point. I still have a feeling that he's coming. It's waiting for dragons in Game of Thrones.
Best iteration of Roy Harper, Young Justice, right?
Yeah.
By far, fucking awesome.
But nothing against Roy Harper's character, because he's he's an awesome character. But I don't know, this episode just kind of made people look like a bunch of gossiping girls.
You know who didn't look like a gossiping girl though? Who had some balls? The only person who showed balls the entire episode was Felicity.
Yeah.
And she was just like, you know what? Go fucking do it. Shut the fuck up and go get it done.
And that leads to that awesome fight scene that's just out of control, awesome.
But see now I loved that fight scene, but that was just him against lackeys.
No,
right?
I know.
We talk about Captain America: The Winter Soldier. He beat lackeys up quick. He threw that fucker off a boat. He hit a motherfucker in the face. But then when he faced Botrick the Leaper, or he faced the Winter Soldier, he always got to face the main villain. He doesn't fight Deathstroke in this episode that's titled Deathstroke, and that drives me nuts.
In your defense, though, we get to see a lot of full-suited Deathstroke scenes, which was cool. We got to see him throw a sword at a cop and take out 2 other cops, and he's starting to build his army. And how can we forget Isabel, Ravashov, whatever? Everyone works with Russians these days. I don't get what it is. But
Ollie loves Russians.
Ollie has officially
spoilers. We're gonna skip ahead 10 minutes if you don't know what I'm about to
we've
talk
been
about.
spoiling this episode for the last 10 minutes.
But this is pretty big if you're a big Oliver Queen fan. Completely loses control of his own company, which we've
predicted that from the beginning.
We knew it was going to happen, but and now we see that they're kind of mass producing the Miracle serum to make this army. So that's definitely something to look forward to. In these
Miracle isn't the ultimate power source, but it's a pretty good power source.
I wouldn't mind being injected with it. Take a bullet. do a lot of other things with it.
All right, now the second rumor that Slade spreads was the funniest scene of the episode. Now I thought it was funny as hell when Theo's like yelling at Oliver like he guided her like Malcolm Merlin's penis into his mom's vagina or something.
Do it.
But like this was hysterical. Slade Wilson shows up at Laurel's house, knocks on the door politely, comes in, and she's just like, "Oh no!" closes the door.
Go to hell.
Does she ever check the peephole? By the way, how many times has people knocked on Laurel Lance's door looking to kill her? And she's like, but like, so she opens the door and he's just like, "I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to tell you Oliver Queen's secret, and that is." He is the Arrow. Turns around, walks away,
and walks out.
and Katie Cassidy's left there like, I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna look at the floor until the camera goes away. And it's just ridiculous. Like he just walks in, hey yo, he's the Arrow. Leaves.
I'm out.
Like he could have sent a text. He could have wrote like on a piece of paper.
A nice email.
This is more personalized.
But yeah, it definitely just like
it didn't play the way they thought it was going to
exactly.
play.
Exactly.
It's just like what we were talking about Captain America when Bucky takes the mask off. That didn't play the way it wanted to play. Just that was because of the fans, but this was because of what they did.
Yeah.
That just was strange.
This would totally be badass.
I mean, it's so hard to just like poke fun at them, like the writers and stuff, because they've just done like.
If it's so hard, how have we done it for the last
But
time?
it's just like an absolutely great.
Oh, I love
so
this
far,
show.
you know?
And don't get me wrong. I just love being an asshole. Dan, you got any other thoughts on this episode?
It was something that I actually brought up to Ryan a bit earlier, and I think, oh man, maybe a future caped project we can do is make a condensed version of the Arrow seasons. Just because like we've seen so much filler, and yeah, the writers have done a good job, but they always have between 5 to 15 minutes of the good stuff, and then the rest of the episodes are just like
CW fuel.
yeah, CW
romance and
yeah, just throwing wood into the fire and stuff. So like, imagine if we condensed the show down, like have it just a well cut, edited like shit.
Like I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
I always say that I think the way the TV has gotten, like if you haven't noticed, we're in a golden age of TV right now.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of good television out there, and that is because I think of the new format of like instead of doing like Arrow does 23 episodes, most of those big networks do 20-something episodes. Shows are doing 13 to 8 episodes, 8 to 13, in that range. Leads to more condensed stories, less filler, wasting your time episodes. Because everyone knows when you're watching your favorite show and you sit down and you say it's The Walking Dead and you see it's an episode with Beth talking in her head and you're like, this is a waste of fucking my time. Because this is going to be a filler episode and nothing's going to happen. But that format from 8 to 13 doesn't allow much time to fill
Right.
time.
yeah.
You just can only just do awesome shit.
Yeah.
But
like, True Detective,
yeah, True
for
Detective.
example. But I mean, do certain networks have certain like
HBO,
regulations they have to? No, I know HBO is kind of like
they can do whatever.
go
they
do whatever you want,
and
but
Netflix can do that as well.
right.
But
But
it's really
take CW. Look at look at Smallville.
yeah, they did 20-something episodes.
Exactly.
Too.
But like, is that just because they're
the big they're part of the big networks on the if you're in the single digits, you're one of the big networks because everyone gets them, so they want to produce as many episodes as possible.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on like AMC or you're on HBO, you pay for that service a little more extra. You pay extra for that kind of cable for AMC, and you obviously pay extra for HBO and Showtime and those, so they can do whatever kind of format they want.
Yeah, that makes sense. It'd be cool to see if like HBO could like adapt like a superhero show. Wouldn't that be kind of cool? Like
they did in the '90s to Spawn the animated series for a little bit.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
oh,
and they had the first chance of Walking Dead, but they passed on it because they wanted it to be less gory.
Oh my god!
Isn't that weird? How we have Game of Thrones, which is one of the like most violent shows, like on TV. They were like, "Let's tone down the violence." Let's break out the boobs.
Whoa.
Turn down the violence.
Too much violence here. I don't like it.
Need more titties. That is the HBO creed.
This HBO way.
We
But,
can even get this guy punched in the face, or we can pull out a tit.
I choose the tit.
I choose the latter.
Yeah, so I don't know. It wasn't what we expected this Arrow episode was going to be, but not this week, but next week's episode, The Man Under the Hood looks like it's going to be promising.
Yeah.
Very promising.
I hope Deathstroke and Ollie fight. I mean, the only time we've seen Deathstroke and Ollie fight is in Three Ghosts, in which Slade was just in Ollie's mind.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Well, technically, we got to see them fight a couple episodes back on the ship.
yeah.
But I wouldn't. I mean, if you want to call that a fight
I
scene.
want to see them in present day at both at the top of their games.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right,
yeah.
Slade's obviously has a cap on his strength now.
Mhm.
He knows how to use it.
Yeah.
And Ollie has been training and kicking ass for a
Yeah.
while now. And that I want to see that.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not too far.
I don't want to see long-haired Ollie. Wig Ollie.
We want to see short-haired Ollie.
Short hair.
But yeah. So a couple things to add to the upcoming episode. It's not going to be on this Wednesday. It's going to come back. They're doing that thing where they take a week off and whatever. But we have two Star Lab employees coming to Starling City.
Yeah, Killer Caitlin Snow, potentially Killer Frost.
Mm-hmm.
And who is the other one? Is it
Vibe, right?
is it Vibe, really?
Yeah, that's what they said it was.
And I'm going to say once again, why is Vibe on the Flash show?
Well, who knows?
Maybe he's just the name, and maybe he's not going to play Vibe. Maybe he's just going to play
Maybe.
the character.
Yeah.
And maybe he'll come in at some point.
Yeah.
JLA name drop. Oh, it's a bit early.
Yeah.
But yeah, they will be
They'll
coming
be
to
on.
Starling City, so we should look to that. But yeah, so we'll wrap up Arrow. We got all the things out, but so now we're gonna switch to
Recent casting news.
Yeah, some
All
casting
kinds of
news.
casting news, dude.
So let's start with TMNT. the big weird one is Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah,
as Leo.
TMT did the recast of their. They released the trailer this week, and they're like, "Hey, by the way, we don't even have these characters voiced yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have them we're gonna recast their voice 5 days later.
Exactly.
So we're bringing in Johnny Knoxville. You said for
Yep,
Leonardo.
Knoxville, which is weird, just because I picture him playing Mikey, if anyone, you know.
See, what I'm really nervous about is, Johnny Knoxville is a classic Shakespearean actor, and when he takes a role, he takes it very seriously. So
The Ringer.
So when he's not able to do the motion capture, I'm nervous for the voice acting performance because he takes these roles very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're bringing someone of his caliber onto this kind of film, you want him to elevate it, not bring it down. So that's what I'm most nervous about because we all know what Johnny Knoxville is capable of.
I mean, you gotta not to take shots at Jackass or Knoxville, but I mean, you gotta expect a couple nut shots in TMNT, right? Now that he's on board, he's probably gonna ask for a couple, hits in the head with a fish, or somebody shoot me in the nuts.
Why Johnny Knoxville? That's what I'm saying.
That's what I think.
Who on Nickelodeon's like, you know what would improve this? Johnny Knoxville. He's a dope, right? He can play the only non-dope on the team.
That's my main point.
He can play the leader.
That's my main point. Why would he play Leo?
Well, see, the guy who plays Mikey, actually, if you heard his voice in the trailer, he actually fits.
Yeah, he does.
He fits.
He's the only turtle we've heard speak.
He's the only turtle we
Just
heard. And we did hear one of them speak while they're falling down that hill, but we can't determine which one it was because that action scene was it was dark
Yeah.
and it was hard to
I
see.
think it might have been Donnie. Because he was sliding down that slope.
And
But that scene was.
they're like holding on to it. It did look
I
cool.
think so. I think it was Donnie.
It was either Donnie or Raph.
Yeah. And then who's the other one?
And Master Splinter is now being portrayed by Tony Shalhoub
From
Monk.
Monk.
And I actually do like Tony Shalhoub. So
Yeah, I like.
I won't give any crotch shots to Tony Shalhoub. He's cool.
No
but
pun intended with
you know
the
who he's
crotch shots.
replacing, right? Danny Woodburn from Seinfeld. That's Mickey from Seinfeld, the midget.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was Master Splinter.
Oh, so he's
His voice wouldn't work for Splinter. I don't know. What the fuck was they doing casting these people to do motion capture in the first place? It's not. If you want to get someone for motion capture, get Andy Serkis. You don't need actors to come in to do mocap for Turtles and then be like, "We'll voice it later."
Yeah, that was so weird.
All right, but that's really whatever kind of news.
Yeah,
That's casting. That's just like voice casting. Cool.
Yeah, but let's
More casting that happened.
I don't really expect any of that news to hamper the movie in any way.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll make it like,
yeah.
oh, this is amazing.
No,
But I don't think
I
it's
just
gonna
like shitting
ruin
on
it.
Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, there's not really an iconic voice that goes along with
Right.
the Ninja Turtles like there is with the Batman animated series cast,
Right.
where all of their voice actors are like, this is the gold standard.
In the
There
future,
really isn't that for like the Ninja Turtles.
by the way,
in the future TMNT songs.
Speaking
will
of,
always be like, Knoxville.
Knoxville.
No one can get up to Knoxville.
speaking of Batman animated series voice actors, this kind of it doesn't have to do with the animated series, but did you notice if you ever played Batman Origins, the Arkham Origins game?
I did not.
Did you play it? Did anyone play
No
it?
one here did.
Did you ever see the trailers
Yes,
for,
I
or like gameplay for it?
Yeah.
The guy who plays Batman's voice, like, I don't know what he was trying to do, but he was trying to mimic Kevin Conroy a little too much,
Yeah.
and it really threw me off.
That's
'cause
the guy who plays the Assassin's Creed's voices too.
Yeah, it's the same guy, but he really tried to do Kevin Conroy a little too much, and it was kind of a turn off for me, and I didn't really want to play the game. So.
I didn't get aroused.
But the very side note. But let us continue.
All right. Further castings. All right. So, Batman, Superman added 3 actors. We're going to just touch upon this real quick because once again, we don't know who they're going to be playing.
Mhm.
They added 3 actors. Holly Hunter, Academy Award winner in such great fare, as I wrote on the site, is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Great film. Great film.
That movie is awesome. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Callan Mulvey from 300 Rise of an Empire, and he was also in The Winter Soldier last night as Greasy Guy.
Yeah.
Greasy
guy.
Greasy-
Captain America beat the
Greasy
ass
mean guy.
out of. So
Twice.
Twice.
He did beat the shit out of that guy. And last but not least, Tayoko Omoto.
Komodo?
Okamoto.
She
Okamoto?
can't be nominated actress
Oh!
from The Wolverine. So she obviously saw she has skill in comic book film. She saw the nomination. She's like, I must go back to try to win. And they're gonna. So my real criticism of this is that there's 75 years of Superman comics. I said this to Ryan the other day. There's 75 years of Batman comics. 150 years of characters you can draw from. But these 3 have to be original characters to this film because we couldn't find anyone to play these parts that could have been from the comic books.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
And you know what I mean?
Everyone's going to do... I mean, the same thing with Gotham. With Fish Mooney. With their
Fish
original-
Mooney. Yeah. 75 years of Batman gangsters.
You
We
couldn't
can't
pick one.
find one. Better have Jada Pinkett Smith dye her hair red.
For one. Her name's Fish Mooney.
Fish Mooney.
Fish Mooney. Let's have Jada Pinkett Smith dye her hair red. That's a good idea. And
Yeah.
call her Fish.
Because that makes total sense.
Yeah,
And
but
everyone will get that.
the only thing I said about this casting is that I think that Callan Mulvey, he looks villainous. He was a villain
he
in Winter
does.
Soldier. He's going to be the top secret second villain in this movie. The original character, kind of like Miranda Tate, who's like, I've been a classic comic book villain this entire movie. And you've only guessed it most of the way through, but now I'm going to reveal myself. And then he'll be like Metallo or not Deathstroke, or Brainiac or Mr. Mixelplex.
Would be cool to see Brainiac. I know we've talked about this multiple times,
Yeah, we'll
but
probably see
All
him
right.
as Metallo.
But
yeah,
we
that's
don't know
what I said,
anything.
too.
Yeah.
I said I could see him as Metallo.
We don't know anything. Maybe Metallo. Let's just move
We
forward
can't
from
speculate.
this. I just don't. These castings piss me off more than make me happy. Johnny Knoxville and fucking. All right. All right. More casting news. Woohoo! Toby Kebbell has been cast as Doc Doom. And if you think you misheard me, no. His name is Toby Kebbell, and the reason you don't know who it is because no one's ever heard of him before. And
I gotta love these unknowns coming into big parts. Huh?
I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not. It could go either way.
At least he's not getting, like, if he's a known, they always get criticized to the utmost degree.
Poor Ben.
You know, no matter who they play.
I looked it up earlier because I haven't seen him in anything, but he was in Wrath of the Titans, if anyone saw that.
Oh, no.
So, a family favorite.
Sam Worthington fair. I'll be there.
He was the Prince of Persia in the movie adaptation of the video game.
He was?
Yeah.
Was he?
I thought it was Jake Gyllenhaal.
Was it?
Yeah,
No,
that was
no,
Jake
no,
Gyllenhaal.
no,
Jake, well, Jake Gyllenhaal.
No. Jake Gyllenhaal is the lead character, but the game is called Prince of Persia. I don't think he's the Prince of Persia. I think he's the lead character. There is a Prince of Persia, played by the great Toby Kebbell.
He's in there, but we should bring that up at some
The
point.
Prince of Persia. Well, now that he's played the Prince of Persia, he can play the King of Latvia. So he, and I also heard, the only other thing I've heard about this is they're going to have Doom bots.
That's pretty cool.
That's something.
Doombots are sweet.
I mean, like, if the less Toby Kebbell, more Doombots. I mean, the less we see of all this cast, the better, right? We'll just have the Sebastian Stan rule of thumb. Say, like, 3 words.
It'll just be
There you
silent. The silent.
The silent
types,
film.
The whole movie.
A silent Fantastic Four film.
Silent film. A throwback to the olden days. Just awesome fighting CGI sequences, but it's silent with, like, a soundtrack in the background. Okay.
So that's yes.
And there's one more piece of casting news. Gotham continually loves to disappoint us in various ways. We haven't even seen it, but I love to criticize it.
I know.
They just casted Corey Michael Smith as the Riddler. Now, I don't have anything against Corey Michael Smith. 1, because I don't know who he is, and 2,
he's another unknown.
He's a stage actor. I appreciate that. I appreciate the stage. He's probably a good actor.
You have a good.
I
theater
don't
sense.
appreciate them making. I'm sick of hearing that they're having villains on before Batman's created. Batman's villains are a result of him coming out
Right.
of the cave.
Yep.
And, like, it's not like the Riddler wasn't fucking around before then. Like,
That's true.
Oswald was around before then, but he wasn't like the Penguin.
Yeah, it wasn't the Penguin.
And, like, then they're saying that there's rumors that there's going to be a guy in a comedy club telling jokes, and that's going to be the Joker.
Oh,
It just makes me sick to my fucking stomach
no.
to hear that Fox is going to be making prequel villains, and then we're going to have curly hair Bruce to, like, just crying with his freaky butler. The show looks like a fucking disaster.
You didn't tell me the part about a guy telling jokes who's going to become the Joker.
Is that sickening?
Oh,
What do you guys think of that?
I want to throw up. That's how I think
Dan
about
and
it.
I were actually talking about down the way over here about how it's weird that these characters are popping up when they didn't exist without Batman.
Yeah.
So, and
Why?
Dan compared it to Gotham High.
Gotham High.
Where all the evil in Gotham came from this one island.
They all fit into your convenient high school stereotypes.
Oh my God.
Weird.
That's
sad.
I'm not a fan. I didn't know that about the Joker.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that. You
I'm
knew
not
that, right?
happy about
That just ruined it.
The
for
only
me.
one that I think actually fits is having Catwoman be the same age as Bruce and having her be a burglar. That's the only one I'm like, all right, I can deal.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. Why don't we have Tommy Elliott be his school friend? Fucking hush. And we show the relationship before then. Or we show Harvey Dent as a kid, and maybe he knew Bruce because they always seem to be friends in the comics before he turns into Two-Face. They could do stuff like that. Why do we have to make everyone an adult and become the villain that they're going to be before Batman exists? Batman didn't show up because of those villains, those super villains. He showed up because of gangsters and corruption in that city that he wanted to stop, and he wanted to make sure that nothing like what happened to him ever happened to any other kid.
Right.
Except at the beginning of Batman when he did let that happen to another kid. Thanks, Tim Burton.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ! But wow, that really I was kind of on the fence. I mean, me.
Did I make you jump off the show?
Yeah, I'm off the fence completely. Like, You know, Fox gave us a lot of rope with this, and then they just completely hung us with it. But
that's why I make you write all the articles about it.
you know, every article that comes out, it's just like, okay, you know, he doesn't look that bad. This guy looks okay. Yeah, they can see Catwoman. This guy looks like the Riddler. But now that you told me that, it's just like, I don't even want to blog about it anymore.
See, when you said in the article, you're like, I can't wait till you get his thing on his face and his can. I don't want to see that. And they say he's going to be there's been iterations where there's been Edward Nash and he's been a cop and like that kind of thing. But they're like, he's a Barry Allen type of CSI.
Oh God!
And he speaks very cryptically, and he's not very sure of himself.
Sounds like a South Park episode.
There's one thing that the fucking Riddler is sure of. He has a huge ego, and he is sure he's the smartest person in any room he goes into. He's fucking sure.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
He's not unsure of himself and speaks cryptically all the time like an asshole. Like,
I speak cryptically.
did you find any blood at the scene? Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't.
That depends on your definition of blood.
Depends if I can trust my own eyes.
I might not even be here right now.
We see what we want to see, don't we, Captain? So, yeah, fuck Gotham.
Not the city, but, you know.
Not the city, not the characters, not anything like
the Fox project.
the Fox version of...
I feel like we've done a lot of shots fired on this podcast, except for Captain America.
Oh, go see Captain America the Winter Soldier.
We have to reiterate it. Go see it.
Go see Captain America the Winter Soldier. That'll make you feel good about life. And you'll get to see all those awesome trailers of the superhero movies that are going to come.
Speaking of superhero movies to come.
That's pretty much all the trailers. Were there was like a trailer for the Expendables 3, and then everything else was...
What did I say to you? I'm like, you know, I should probably go see the first two Expendables to know what's going on.
That every action star who's ever lived.
No, but speaking of seeing the trailers and Spider-Man and stuff, there was one more thing that we wanted to mention to all the listeners out there about a certain actress who will not be returning.
Oh, yes. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about who's not returning. Shailene Woodley said this week, after I gave a long defense speech in her honor last week, or 2 weeks ago now, that she will not be returning, most likely, to the role of MJ in future installments of the Spider-Man franchise. Now, she showed up on set, and they took a picture of her without any makeup on, just walking the set. And, like, everyone takes bad pictures.
Right.
I only take bad pictures. So, like, as someone who knows that. And it went on the internet, and fanboys went crazy. And it's the same argument with Gal Gadot that they always, she isn't pretty enough.
Or Ben Affleck.
She doesn't have big enough
matter.
ass or big enough tits. It's stupid as fuck to say all that stuff. And, like, because of all this criticism and the fact that she's got a successful franchise that looks like in Divergent and made a good amount of money, and they're already shooting the other one of that, she's like, I don't want to be 2 franchise commitments right now. It looks like she's not returning. But it really grinds my gears that that all the amount of criticism that was aimed at her, and now they're all like, thank God.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, why not have her as one of the most important? Like, what are they going to do now? They're kind of just shit out of luck by now, right?
The reason they cut MJ out of the second one was because they were introducing too many characters already. They already had to get Norman Osborn, Harry Osborn. They had to get Electro in there. They have to get the Rhino in there.
There's a rumor that they're trying to get Black Cat in there, too.
Yeah, see? And they're also introducing Alistair Smythe, too. And all kinds of people are coming in on this film, so...
It's going to be very...
It's jam-packed already, so they wanted to make some time.
When Gwen Stacy dies, just have Emma Stone come back with the red hair.
No one will know the difference.
All right, boys. Trivia time. What is Emma Stone's natural hair color?
I want to say brunette.
Blonde.
Dan's correct.
Is it blonde?
It is.
Another one.
Really?
She's a natural
What
blonde.
is Jennifer Lawrence's natural hair color?
Blonde.
Also
Blonde. Yeah. Yeah, people don't realize that about either of those because everyone thinks Emma Stone's a redhead, but she's not.
She's not. Well, I mean, she does look good as a redhead, but
I'm not saying she doesn't look good as a redhead. I'm just saying she's not a
She
redhead.
only died for Superbad.
that's so.
She died
so
for Superbad
strange.
and just kind of
Ever
stayed.
since, yeah.
Can you believe they found her in Superbad though? That's
She's
where she started.
I know,
one of,
that's
one of the
awesome.
great movies of all time. I
She's
love Superbad. That's not a criticism like the Johnny Knoxville bullshit speech I gave. I love Superbad.
She's I mean, she's definitely proved herself as Gwen Stacy too. So she's
Yeah, so
She's
they
gonna
also
be good.
felt like adding MJ in while Gwen's still alive is kind of like
makes
Just
sense.
pushing it.
Yeah, it
No,
makes
no,
sense.
we can't. We don't want to have a CW situation where there's too many love interests and not enough action.
Love triangle.
The
We need
love
to focus
triangle.
on the amount of love in this movie.
This is another ex-girlfriend who's come back to town and is just wrecking shit up. Ah.
Always just banging everybody.
He's banging everybody.
But
the one person he didn't bang, his mom, he gets mad about that someone else banged her. Why couldn't you tell me this? Why did you have Malcolm Merlin bang mom?
But yeah, just so
And
pumped about Spider-Man.
but Shailene, go kick some ass.
Yeah, seriously.
She's gonna be in Fault in Our Stars. Go see it. It's a great book. Go see it. It's a great book. Go see it. It's a great book. I'm hoping it's a great movie.
But,
I like her a lot.
Also,
Yeah.
side note, last night, I don't know about you guys, last night was the first time I personally had seen that trailer on the big screen.
Yeah, same
Oh
here.
yeah.
It looked awesome. Didn't
We always talk about how it looks cool, but on that screen,
it?
I had chills.
What did I
Yeah,
look? I
chills.
turned to Christian. I go, I have chills just watching that trailer. It looks awesome.
I mean, if
Oh,
like studio
man.
heads want it, like there's no way to explain it other than when you see something in a theater, it has a different aesthetic than
Yeah.
when you watch it on your computer.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
how anyone watches a movie on their phone.
yeah,
Those,
Yeah,
those people are a
that's rough.
special breed. That's not watching a movie. There's an experience when you watch a movie.
that's
you know what I
catching
mean?
up on a movie.
A lot of people think some comedies aren't funny when they watch them at home. You know why? You go to an audience with a bunch of people, you'll think it's a lot fucking funnier because people will be laughing around you and you're not
Yeah.
by yourself. Yeah, I had the same effect.
It was-
with chills,
oh
man.
my
And I got that
God.
for X-Men too. I
Yeah.
was just like, ah.
So definitely go see that movie in theaters. Don't wait for it to come out on DVD or Blu-ray.
Or,
Yeah,
yeah,
Go see it on the big screen.
Go
'cause
see it in
looks
3D too.
amazing.
I mean,
Go see it in
Spider-Man.
IMAX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the first one that came out 2 years ago, IMAX 3D, and it was awesome. It was so good. Even 3D was awesome, you know? Like, Captain America in 3D last night was awesome. So,
We'll have to, when that movie comes out next month, we'll have to compare the fight scenes. Because the fight scenes in Amazing Spider-Man 2 look incredible as
yeah,
well.
they do.
Yeah.
But they're a different kind. And I love that they do that.
The web
And just like the way fighting is portrayed in these superhero movies now makes me look back at the Dark Knight trilogy and be like, those are fantastic movies. But besides that Bane fight scene, I can't name another one where I'm like, wow, Batman was really kicking ass. He felt slow and just like
stiff, yeah.
and stiff and like I know it's the bat suit is heavy and shit. Like it's hard to like move in it.
Well, that's why I think we should be looking forward to those fight scenes in the
Yeah,
upcoming
absolutely.
one, you know?
I mean, it's so far away. They're making us wait forever.
I told you guys about my dream, man. I'm dreaming about it now, so we'll see.
Get something?
No, I was just thinking about your comment about Christian Bale in the Dark Knight trilogy, and he wasn't. As we've discussed, he wasn't a very good detective in those movies. and now that we've seen all these fight scenes, he's not even like on the level of fighting
Right.
as these guys. So
Yeah.
like, what kind of Batman is he? He's just like this guy running around.
I mean,
in
look
a
at the
suit
fight
now.
scenes
What did we
from-
say was the highlight of those movies? The villains.
Yeah.
And they were.
Mhm.
And that's a great thing.
Yeah.
But like this Captain America movie, there was some good villainy in it, right?
Yeah.
But the highlight of the film was Cap.
Yeah.
And the highlight of the film was Black Widow, those two, and Indian Falcon. And
Yeah.
bromance. I love good bromance.
yeah.
I mean, we kind of focused on Captain America's fighting scenes, but Falcon had some sweet flying scenes, like when he fucking got the guns out of his wings and just spun them around.
Yeah.
That, oh man, it's just
Very
little
cool.
little shit like that.
Is he going to be in Age of Ultron? I don't think he's going to be in Age of Ultron, which sucks.
maybe
Not-
a cameo.
He's going to be in the future Captain America.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, he was
I
good.
really enjoyed his.
And just to comment real quick about fighting scenes. I mean, look at the fighting scenes in Man of Steel. I mean, that
I
Smallville
even-
scene is
The
unbelievable.
superpowers on display were cool in Man of Steel, but the best fighter in Man of Steel was Feora.
Oh yeah,
The other kind of
absolutely.
fighting was just like, it was also kind of Dark Knight-ish in a way, but just with superpowers.
Yeah,
But we know,
You know what I mean?
British punch.
Like the way Bruce Wayne is supposed to be the most technical fighter in the world.
Mhm.
He's supposed to be doing what Captain America was doing last night. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But maybe even to an even more degree.
Yeah.
But like, that's why I'm hoping for a prison-style fight scene,
I was
like in Watchmen.
just
You know what I
gonna
mean?
say.
We've seen what Zach can do with real-life kind of fighting, and we know in that movie Clark Kent isn't trained. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
just starts fighting. He just
Mhm.
starts fucking throwing fists. Most powerful man on the earth. That's what you can kind of do.
Mhm. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. You know, like you just said, it's so far away, but
Well, before we
Something
wrap
to
things
definitely
up, I
look
just
forward
wanted to mention a couple things
Yeah.
about comic books. You know, the source material on which this stuff is based.
that's right.
This week, the Francis Mapool and Brian, they call him Booch, they released Detective Comics 30. They were on Flash for a long time. This is a fantastic new Batman comic. Go pick it up. It's different than Scott Snyder's in a way that it's a more cinematic feel. There's no inside of Batman's head.
Right.
It's an awesome artwork piece. It's a different part of Gotham. It's more detective based. So go pick that up.
Okay.
I thought that was fantastic. And spoiler alert for this: Peter Parker's back in Superior
That's
Spider-Man.
right.
And that's a plus.
Definitely pick that up too. Like it's not too late. What?
Well,
you
Spider-Man
pick it up
number
now-
1 is coming out next month.
Yeah. So if you pick it up now, not too far behind, I don't think.
No.
You're still in Goblin Wars, which is good, which is awesome. I think this is.
It's a fun arc.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I wanted to say about that. But, anyone got anything else to say?
I just want to say it's been great coming back.
Yeah.
Talk about one of the best comebacks.
All right. Well, okay. Wrap it up. Bud.
Well, it's great to be back. If no one else has anything else to say, we just want to wrap up and say, go see Captain America one more time, because that was the main point of this podcast. We wanted to tell you guys all about it. It was unbelievable. Definitely worth money to go see
You
it.
want to give it a rating on ourselves? What do you think you give it?
Honestly,
I think I like a 9.
I was thinking about around 9.
A 9.
9
I
out
think
of
a 9's
10.
perfect. 9.
Definitely a 9 out of 10. That's
9
saying
out of
a
10.
lot. We've seen a lot of superhero
Well,
movies.
we
and that's saying
say
a
a
lot.
9 to leave to give some leeway for Superman and Batman.
All right.
Exactly.
Right.
And for other
That
superhero
10 is
movies.
waiting for that.
Right.
But it definitely set the bar high for the Capies. And, since it's the only superhero nominated film so far.
I think it'll.
It definitely... I'm not even going to lie. I think it was way better than Man of Steel. Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and I thought that was the best movie of 2013. So I really think 2014 is going to be a much better year for superhero movies than last year.
Well,
'Cause last year was a little weak.
What do I always tell you? I mean, it's always hard to do origin stories when you bring a new kind of style. Like,
the
when
sequel always turns out better.
Right, when
it
you-
seems.
when you revamp something like Spider-Man, like okay, everyone was like, all right, what's going to be different from the other ones with Tobey Maguire and everything? And the original movies are always the hardest to make. But then if you can get through there, and a lot of people give it enough credit, the possibilities are endless for sequels. I won't say endless, but you can do a lot more.
If you can finish your True Moo chocolate milk, you can get to Electro and the Rhino.
That's right. But
the moral of the story.
Okay.
But that's it for this week's podcast. Hopefully we'll be back next week.
Thanks for coming back on, Brady.
No problem.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you guys for having me back, and we will see you guys at sometime soon.